Wait till you see one of these projects. We are DIYing all things snowman today. Let's go. Hey everyone, my name's Courtney. Let's get crafting. For this project, I have some wood blocks, but I am not making what you might think I'm making. I will be doing a snowman version of my wooden blocks that's coming in a future video. But for this one, I am using 2x4s. This larger piece I cut down to about 6 inches. This smaller piece is cut down to about 4 inches. The bigger piece is getting some red paint. I am just painting it until I like how it looks. This is meant to be a little bit more of a rustic DIY. And then the smaller piece of wood will get painted with some gray paint. This is Steel by Waverly Chalk Paint. Once the blocks are dry, I'm grabbing my pencil, and on the gray block, I'm sketching out a snow mound, I guess, towards the bottom of the block. And then I'm going to draw an outline of a snowman body on that. Once that's kind of sketched out, I will take some white Waverly chalk paint and paint the mound and the snowman with that paint. On the red block, I'm going to paint some, I don't know, snow dips on the front part of it. And then that side portion, I am going to paint all of that white as well. Time to add some details to the snowman. Using my black paint marker, I'm going to draw on 2 eyes and then add a little sparkle to those eyes with a white dot with my white paint marker. For the outside of the snowman, I'm just gonna brush some light tan paint over the edges of the snowman just to kind of define his body a little bit. Once that's done, I'm also going to start painting the scarf. I decided to paint that green, so that's what I'm working on here. With the scarf painted, I decided to take a little bit of gray paint and brush that along the edges, kind of on top of where I did that brown, along with at the bottom of the snowman to kind of define the difference of the bottom of the snowman and the snow mound. Once that gray was painted, I did paint a orange nose onto the snowman, and I added a little bit of brown paint just to kind of add some depth and dimension to that carrot nose. Then I also stamped on some pink cheeks with a little bit of pink paint. And to finish off the scarf, I used my white paint marker just to add little stripes to the scarf. The last details to add to the snowman were some arms. So again, using my brown paint marker, I drew wooden arms coming from each side, and then in between the little hands of the snowman, I took a silver metallic paint marker and I just freehanded drawing a snowflake. I thought about adding a wooden snowflake here, but I just kind of felt like the hand-drawn was really cute. I will definitely link all of the supplies in today's video, including these paint markers that I absolutely love, down below in the description box. And of course, a snowman needs snow around it, so I took my white paint marker and just added some little snow dots all around. To finish this off, I cut out a decal on my Cricut that says, "Let it snow." You can grab this file down below in the description box. Added it to the red block along with a little styrofoam snowflake from Dollar Tree. And then I glued the 2 blocks together and voila, you've got yourself a cute snowman sign. Wooden spoon Christmas decor is nothing new, but I really do hope you like my version of snowman wooden spoons. These are for decorative purposes only. I just want to make sure that's very, very clear. So I started with 2 wooden spoons that I painted completely white with some of the Waverly white chalk paint. For my first snowman, I had this 2-pack of little snowman heads from Dollar Tree, and I thought, you know what, we're going to break this down and use components of this. So I wanted to use the hat and I wanted to use the nose. I had to kind of size down the hat because, well, it was way too big for my wooden spoon. So I had to trim it and then kind of trim the top as well to make sure that it would fit on this spoon. So once I trimmed it down, like I said, I trimmed the top of it and obviously the width of it. I did take the extra pom-pom off the other hat and attach it to this. And then those little snowman heads had stuffing in them, so I did put some stuffing inside of the hat as well. Once it was trimmed down and I thought it looked pretty good and a little more proportional to my spoon, I hot glued that onto the top of the spoon. To finish the face, I used my black paint marker to draw on some eyes, and I did use the little carrot nose and hot glue that on to the snowman as well. Use the black marker to do 5 little kohl dots for the smile, and of course a white marker to add some sparkle to the eyes. Then taking some of this red and white crocheted ribbon stuff I had, I made a scarf for my snowman and hot glued that and tacked it down to the spoon. And I wanted to add some buttons, so I had some mini buttons in my stash and I just hot glued those down, and this is the first version of my snowman spoon. For this snowman spoon, I'm using this snowman kit that I got from Amazon that has all these different pieces in there. I grabbed one of the beanies out, and then same thing for the face. Used my black paint marker to draw the eyes and the mouth. I used one of the carrots from this snowman set for the nose, so it's a different type of carrot. Then for the scarf, I used that same red and white ribbon, but instead of adding buttons, I added some little arms, again from that little snowman kit. And here is my second version. These would be great little things to add to gifts to just make them a little extra special. If you watched my DIY gift video and grabbed your free Christmas gift tag pack, here is a gift tag that you definitely might want to make. Start with some of these Dollar Tree chalkboard tags, and you need 2 white buttons. They need to be 2 different sizes. All you want to start with is taking those buttons and hot gluing them down to your tag. From there, I'm going to add some ribbon as a scarf, and I just want to give a shout out to this organizer I found on Amazon. Y'all, it's a game changer. If you work with ribbon, I'm telling you, this thing is the best thing ever. I will definitely link it down below if you need some help organizing ribbon. Once I got that on there, I decided just to handwrite with a gold paint pen the name of the person that I'm giving this tag to, and that's it. I mean, it's just something different. It's something cute. It's very quick and fast to do, but it just shows a little extra love when you give a gift. I am so excited for this DIY. It is so cute. This project is inspired by this picture that I found from Kim's Crafts. Her snowmen are so cute, so I knew I wanted to make one. You want to start with 2 of these larger Dollar Tree ornaments. Now, if you want to do this the easy way, take yourself to the hardware store and buy yourself some of the frosted glass spray paint. I personally am trying really hard to use up my stash, and I didn't want to go out because it was pouring rain. So I'm trying to work with what I have to get these to have more of a frosted look. So what I ended up doing was taking some of that stained glass paint in white, and I put that over it, did a coat of that, and then took some sparkle Mod Podge because I did want it to have a little bit of shine, and added a coat of that to the top of the stained glass paint. While the ornaments are drying, I've got a 6-inch flat styrofoam round that I'm taking more of that sparkle Mod Podge, adding it to the top along all the way around the edge, and then using some of that Dollar Tree sparkled snow and covering it with that. You will need one of these Santa's boots ornaments from Dollar Tree, and you want to start by taking one of your ornaments and you're going to hot glue that down into the boot. Now what I did is I just did the top of the ornament and I just made that part go into the boot. I just put a bunch of hot glue on there and stuck that straight on. Now what I'm doing is adding a dowel rod. This was from one of the Snowman projects earlier on, and I just stuck it into this, used a little hot glue. In my mind, this is just kind of an extra stability piece. So I poked a hole in the boot because this is going to be setting down on this little styrofoam platform. So I'm just prepping that and getting it ready. Now I got to burn a hole. So I'm burning a hole using my heat knife. I will link this one down below. I changed the tip out, and it's kind of at the top, but a little off center. Once I burn that hole, then the other one, I want to make sure that I burn a hole kind of where I want that one to sit, and that way those two holes are going to line up. So that's what I did, because I'm going to be feeding fairy lights into this, so that's why you need these holes to line up with each other. Now we're ready to attach our other ornament. Again, making sure those holes are lined up, and I started with some hot glue. I would recommend maybe using a super glue to make this go faster. I just built layer upon layer upon layer of hot glue. That area will be covered up with a scarf. Up to you how you get these attached and make them stable, but the main thing, again, is just making sure that those two holes are lined up. Now we're going to attach this to our styrofoam base platform, and to do that, I just put a ton of glue around my little dowel rod there, as well as at the bottom of the boot. I stuck it down and it held steady. I was very happy with it. Didn't wobble. It was good to go. The other boot, you're going to hot glue directly, just kind of at an angle like it's kicking over. So you're going to notice this is kind of leaning. So basically this little snowman is kind of leaning to the side. That's what it's going to look like from the front. For the scarf, I'm using some of this fluffy yarn. I'm just going to tie it around, tack it in a couple of places, and then at the end of the yarn, add some pom-poms to give it a little extra flair. For the beanie, I'm going to be using this Dollar Tree dish towel that I'm trimming down. I wrapped it around the top ornament to kind of see how wide and big I needed to make it. Once I did that, I just hot glued it to kind of hold the bottom part of it in place. Then what I did was I pulled the top fabric through, used a rubber band to kind of hold that fabric there, and I'm leaving all of that extra fabric in there because it'll make the hat kind of sit up and hold a shape on his head versus just being kind of, I don't know, weird looking. And so once that was done, I just added a pom-pom ball to the top of my beanie. For the face, I drew some teardrop shaped eyes with a black paint marker. I used an orange paint marker for the carrot nose and a black paint marker for the mouth. Wanted my snowman to have some stick arms, so taking some of those little stick arms from that snowman pack, I used my wood burning tool, poked a hole in there, and used some hot glue to secure an arm to each side of the snowman. I took some of those glitter snowflakes from Dollar Tree and I hot glued those down to the base. I also added some of that yarn that I used for the scarf around my beanie. Took my little fairy lights. I got a ton of these in a pack from Amazon for super cheap. It sits really nicely up there and hides under the hat, so it works great. And I fed those through into the snowman. The last finishing touch that I decided to do was to take a piece of twine and some glittery pom-poms. I hot glued the pom-poms down and made a little garland for my snowman to hold. And there you go. You've got yourself the most cutest, just so cute little snowman light. You need 2 of these felt ornament snowman kits from Dollar Tree for this project. We're going to turn this into a cute little stitched pillow. To start, you want to take your 2 pieces of felt and some blue yarn. I'm using some darning needles. I got these in a set from Amazon. Great deal. They're very cheap. Good to have in your crafting stash. We're going to start by doing a blanket stitch all along the edge of our snowman. So to start the stitch, you want to make sure you knot the end of your yarn, And on the top piece of the snowman, you want to pull through your yarn. Once you've done that, you're going to go to the back side and poke a hole in the same spot, kind of on the back portion. And when you poke it through, you want to pull it back through that first hole. I hope that makes sense. And that's going to be your first stitch. Once you do that, then you want to take your stitch and you want to go to the back of the snowman. And you're going to want to make sure that as you poke your holes all along the way, that the distance is about the same. So coming up from the back of the snowman, you're going to pull the yarn through both layers of the snowman. And as you start to pull it and you continue to pull it, you're going to notice the yarn is kind of making a little bit of a loop. And what you want to do is take your needle and pull it through that loop as you continue to pull the yarn. Once you do that, you have your first blanket stitch. Then continue the same process. Go from the back of the snowman, pull it up through both layers, continue to pull the yarn. As it starts to tighten and you see the little loop, poke your needle through it and continue to pull it up. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way around until you leave a little bit of an opening at the bottom so that you can stuff it. Now, when it comes to finishing off a blanket stitch, I'll be the first to admit that I probably do it some crazy way that those of you who do this often are probably like, what in the world is she doing? So what I do is that last stitch I did, I go back through the hole and then I kind of come up in between the layers and do this little knot thing. And that's kind of how I finish mine off. I know there's probably a better way to do it, but I don't know. That's just how I do it and it works. So we're just going to go with that. Now that this is sealed off, I'm ready to stuff it. So I'm going to put some stuffing in there. Now, I will say one thing about this felt. It is stiff, so it does kind of have crinkles and wrinkles. So I would say that if you want a really smooth pillow, you might want to get a softer felt than these from Dollar Tree. But since this is a Dollar Tree snowman video, we're going with this. Once I got it stuffed, then it was time to close up the bottom. So I'm going through the same process, starting the blanket stitch, and I'm just going to go ahead and close up my snowman with that blanket stitch. I'm going to add a little scarf to my snowman. This was left over from that, again, 2-pack of that snowman thing I got where I ripped off the nose and the hat. So I'm using the scarves from that, piecing it together. And then I am going to use the hat. Now, my original plan for this was to make this look completely stitched, but after I did this part, I realized, hey, I probably should have made my life so much easier and stitched on the buttons and the eyes and the nose before I put this thing together, because otherwise I'd be going in and pulling out stuffing. So that was my original plan, was just to have stitches on everything and make it look like it was completely stitched, but you know, time to pivot. So I just glued the 2 hats together and attached those to the head. I glued on the eyes, glued on the nose. For the buttons, I did add some black yarn just to kind of make them look stitched. I put a snowflake on the hat, and then that's it. This is my cute little pillow. You definitely could also do more to it. You could embroider Let It Snow on his belly. You could take it so many different directions, but I think this is a very cute idea. I really do wish I had done all the stitching, but I do think it turned out pretty cute. And I want to quickly revisit a couple of snowman projects from my past that I absolutely love. This is one of them. This project, as well as this next project, are in the same video. I will link it down below if you would like to check these out. I just absolutely love these. They were so fun to make. And then this project, this little hand-painted snowman Let It Snow sign, and of course Frosty's baby picture are in the same video, and I'll link that video down below if you'd like to make even more snowman DIYs. That will wrap up today's video. Let me know down below which one of these projects was your favorite. Also let me know, do you get snow where you are? If you do, what is your favorite snow activities? Do you like to go snowmobiling, sledding, skiing? I would love to know. And if you don't get snow, do you wish you did get snow? Because I sure do. It is currently 85 degrees and I'm really wishing that it would snow here, but you know, it is what it is. I'm in Texas. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Here are some more videos you might want to check out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!